Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Hum Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Hum Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayatam gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. So get yourself in a nice comfortable position for the meditation. I just share with you again that the verses that we chant just now, just at the beginning of each class, the preliminary prayers that we can call them, come from the 3 major Buddhist traditions. I do this on purpose to recognize all of my teachers, but also all of the Buddhist traditions, all of the teachings of the Buddha. So the first 2 are in Pali, And obviously this is the language used by the Theravada tradition. Then the next one is in Sanskrit, which is the scriptural language generally used by Mahayana tradition. Then the next three prayers are from the Tibetan tradition, which obviously is known as Vajrayana tradition, where it comes under the Mahayana tradition. And then the last one, the four great vows of the Bodhisattva, is from the Zen tradition or Chan tradition. And so, and then of course, after the meditation, we will chant the dedication prayer, which once again comes from the Tibetan tradition. Just thought I'd let you know that in case you didn't know. So get yourself comfortable, time for meditation. Brief meditation, but as the Buddha's teachings teach us, there is no time. I often say to people, if you're having a half-hour distracted meditation, maybe it's better to have 5 minutes of non-distraction meditation and then work your way up from that. So short meditation is very precious, as well as the longer meditation. So initially bring your mind to your body, gently close your eyes, your lips gently touching with your tongue resting on the upper palate in the mouth, just above your top teeth. Your shoulders nice and balanced, not slouching forward, but also not rigid, not back like this, you know, just nice and calm, nice and balanced posture. Bring your mind initially to your feet and release any tension from your toes and the bottom of your feet, the balls of the feet, the arches and the heels. And now release the tension from the top of your feet and around your ankles and Achilles tendons. From your lower leg, your calf muscles and your shins. And from around your knees, the front, sides, and back of your knees. And now release the tension from your upper legs, the quad muscles at the front, the hamstrings at the back. Now release from your midsection, around your groin, your hip flexor muscles, and your glute muscles. From your lower stomach, on and above your hips and your lower back. Just remind you to try to not fidget as much as you can physically, keeping your eyes gently closed. Release the tension from further up your stomach and your sides and the center of your back. From your chest area and underneath your arms and your upper back. On the outside, on either side, you have the lateral muscles. And in between the shoulder blades and the spine on each side, you have the rhomboid muscles. We tend to carry a lot of stress in this area, so pay particular attention to release this stress or tension. And it's likewise with the upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders. So release also from them and your shoulders. From your upper arms, biceps and triceps. Your elbows and forearms, wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs. Now release the tension from your neck, the front, the sides and the back of your neck, and up the back of your head. And the sides of your head around your ears and temples, and your face, around your cheeks, cheekbones. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw, your chin and your mouth, your nose and sinuses, eye sockets and eyes. And your forehead, make sure you're not frowning. Without forcing it, you can keep a pleasant look on your face. For when we frown and our face is stressed, we use so many muscles. But if you smile, I think it's about 16 muscles that you use. Very small number of muscles. It's very relaxing. And now finally release the tension from the top of your head. And now scan your body from the bottom to the top and see if you can release any more tension. And when you've completed this, initially bring your focus to the tip of your nose. And your focus is your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Mindfulness of the breath, anapanasati. You'll notice as you breathe in, the air is quite cool on the back of your throat. As it enters your lungs, they expand as they fill with the air. And as you breathe out, they compress. And the air is quite warm as it passes your throat on the way out your nose. Just some extra details to help you focus. Whenever thoughts arise, or maybe you're telling yourself stories in your mind, having some sort of mental feelings or sensations such as emotions, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. But also don't try to forcefully push them away either, or deny them. Let them come and go naturally, peacefully, by refocusing on your breath. If your mind becomes dull, wake it up a little bit by focusing more brightly on your breath. This way, refocusing on your breath is both the antidote for the agitated mind as well as the dull mind. Our mind is so often like a pendulum, going from one extreme to another. The goal in the meditation is, you could say, to transcend this. If your mind becomes busy, calm it down. If your mind becomes dull, wake it up. Don't judge yourself. Let go of worries. Just practice the method. And now we will do this in silence for a few minutes. And now you can feel very pleased with yourself. Give yourself a mental pat on the back for engaging in this brief meditation and getting to know your mind, getting to calm your mind and clear your mind, getting to brighten your mind so your mind becomes more ripe for penetrative insight, for understanding and wisdom, compassion and love. Fill yourself with universal loving kindness. You can do this just by the feeling, the mental feeling, or you can do this by visualizing white light or white nectar, filling your whole being with universal loving kindness. And now extend this loving kindness and radiate it outwards to initially include your family and friends. And like a tidal wave of loving kindness, radiate it out gradually further and further to now include strangers, those people you may know a little bit or not at all. Now also include those you find difficult. Maybe you even call them enemies. Wish that all of these people, all over the world and beyond, wish that they have happiness and its causes, and that they are free from suffering and its causes, that they are at peace with themselves and all that surrounds them. And radiate this loving kindness out further and further still to include all of the sentient beings around your immediate area. All of the beings that are born from wombs and from eggs and from moisture and through transformation, whether you know about them or not, whether they live in the waters or on the land or in the land or fly through the air. May they all be happy and free from suffering. Extend this loving kindness out further and further to include your state or your county. And continually and gradually extend this loving kindness out further and further to include your whole country and other countries, ones you're familiar with, as well as ones that you're not familiar with, until universal loving kindness pervades the whole planet. May all the beings be happy and free from suffering, and may there be peace everywhere. Beyond this planet, to pervade the whole solar system and other solar systems, to pervade the whole galaxy. And all other galaxies. May this universal loving kindness coming from your heart, from your mind, pervade the whole universe and beyond the universe throughout infinite space. Infinite loving kindness. And now be present here and now, and we will recite the dedication prayer before the talk. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. So I hope you feel really nice now, the meditation, wherever you are in the world. I know that we have England represented, and Myanmar represented, and I think India and Nepal as well. And Kien, even though she's in Melbourne, the Vietnamese people are represented. And with Nelon and Mahendra, the Sri Lankans are represented. And then, of course, you've got your Aussies. My mum and I are the Welsh representation, even though we've been living here almost all of my life anyway. So, yeah, we've been talking, as you know, about the Eightfold Path. And in detail, in good detail. We went through the morality aspect, which is right speech, right action, right livelihood. Then we went through the meditation aspect, which is the right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, of which we've been mingling with the wisdom aspect, right understanding and right intention as we went through the 51 derivative mental factors. It's really good for us to get to know these details or aspects of our mind, and to get to know the nature of the mind, to get to know what it is we need to put down and what it is we need to pick up, or in other words, what we need to relinquish or abandon, and what it is that we need to adopt as we purify our mind. And so today we will finish off with the right understanding and right intentions. Now, firstly, I'll mention right understanding obviously is the opposite of wrong understanding. In other words, perceiving things, for instance, to be real that are not real, and perceiving things to not be real that are real. That's a very simple overview way of looking at it. Right understanding is, for sure, is the antidote for ignorance. The word for ignorance we use in Pali is avijja, which means lack of knowing. Vijja means knowing or understanding, and avijja means lack of. We translate that into English normally as ignorance, though we can use the word delusion as well. In Sanskrit, that word is pronounced avidya. So avijja, avidya. Sanskrit, of course, is you could call it the mother language, and Pali is one of the many derivatives that comes from Sanskrit. But they're very, very similar. There's very few words used in Buddhism that are different. For instance, some collections within the 3 collections of the Pali canon or the Theravada teachings collected in what we call the Tipitaka, or in Sanskrit Tripitaka, that they are known as the Nikayas of different sizes, different lengths, so Nikaya, whereas in the Mahayana canon, these are known as Agamas. So that's to give you an example of some difference, but generally it's the same. I get asked the question often, in fact, recently a few times, why from some Indian friends, and they are used to Sanskrit being used, I think, in the Hindu tradition and so forth. So when they hear the word dharma with an R, it maybe confuses them a little bit, getting mixed up. And I was asked, why are you using the word dharma for Buddhism? It should be Dhamma, which is Pali with the double M. And I just said that this is generally, they have the same meaning. They have the same meaning, not just generally, but fully. The teachings of the Buddha, the path to enlightenment, and so forth. It also can mean truth, the path to realizing the truth as well as the truth itself. So I said to my friends that don't get caught up on these words. Generally, the Theravada tradition uses the Pali, Dhamma, and the Mahayana tradition uses Dharma. And of course, in Australia and also England, different places in England and some other countries wouldn't roll the tongue, roll the R. In Wales, we do that, Dharma, but and some other countries as well. But both the words really sound the same. In Australia, for instance, you say Dharma, Dharma, Dharma. So it doesn't matter if it has the R or the M, but don't get confused by that. Look for them when you have words, when you have phrases, look for the meaning behind these phrases. And then if it accords with goodness and bringing benefit, then adopt this meaning into your life. There's words of the Buddha. So let's not get caught up on just the words itself. You say different Buddhist traditions, but people ask me quite often, what tradition are you in? Now, you can say the Zen tradition, you can say for many, many years, decades, the Tibetan tradition, but I've learned in the Theravada tradition as well. I don't see, there are differences in what certain focuses are, and also maybe different interpretation of what is enlightenment, what is the unconditioned, for instance. But really, these are things that are beyond our understanding right now. So we should not argue about it. We should learn. We should learn from each other, compare with each other's understanding so that we learn. You can also, I say to people that Buddhayana, this is what I practice, the way of the Buddha, the Buddha vehicle. There's also a word that we can use called ekayana, which means the one vehicle. So whatever tradition you are practicing in, keep practicing in the tradition. Just keep it up, and then as you go along, you'll have more understanding. Your understanding, the brightness of your understanding of the methods to be used will improve all the time. And then your implementation of the methods will continue to improve. And as this happens, your mind becomes vast. Then there's really no comparison. Do I go this way or that way? There's just that one Dharma way. The Dharma is about, the Dharma practice is about what, like I said before, what to adopt, and then adopting, in other words, goodness, to put it in a very roundabout way, and then what to abandon. You could say badness, to stay within those words. That sort of not. I don't want to get intellectual in this slight overview here. And so, anyway, right understanding. What do we need to understand? I wish you guys could tell me, but we can't do that because it sounds all awkward otherwise. So the law of karma, that's one thing. The law of cause and effect, or you could say cause, condition, and effect. We want happiness, right? We don't want suffering, but we need to cause happiness. We need to avoid causing suffering. We need to avoid acting upon ignorance and attachment and aversion and all the others that come from these three poisonous states of mind. Causing happiness, we need to be generous. We need to have non-attachment as much as possible. We need to be wise, even if it's not the prajna, paramita yet, the perfection of wisdom yet. But we need to be as wise as we possibly can, compassionate. Then you can be happy. I often say, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. It's quite simple in words, but we need to think about it, what it actually means to do that, and then to actually do it, then to implement it. So the law of karma, we need to understand this. All of the difficulties in the world are caused by negative karma, or akusala karma, unwholesome karma. And all of the happiness and all of the peace and everything in the world is caused by wholesome karma. And this is both from the point of view of the individual as well as collectively. An example of that, people say, what does it mean, collective karma? What does it mean, individual karma? One of the examples I've come up with over the years is, let's say, for instance, and of course we don't want this stuff to happen, but let's say, for instance, there's a natural disaster somewhere, maybe an earthquake or something like that. Then all of the people in that area, all of the living beings in that area, have a similar collective karma that has caused this disaster to happen and for them to be in that position. But each one of these individual beings experiences it differently. Some people may be horrible death, some which they don't handle well. Some other people may be peaceful death, maybe quick death. Some people may get really badly injured but are able to maintain a good state of mind during this and able to deal with the pain. Some other people, it just may be totally overwhelming. Some people may be suffering from the mental part of it, even if they didn't get injured physically. Maybe they're going through some terrible feelings, maybe even guilty feelings, and so forth. So, and other people may be, whether they're physically injured or not, they may be helping, helping to save others during this time. We all deal with it in a different way, both mentally as well as what we experience physically and mentally from the disaster in itself. And this is related to, the reason for this is the individual karma of the individual person or being. I think that explains it a little bit, yeah. So I think we'll leave that. So we need to start to understand more and more the law of karma. And this comes under right understanding. Then we have to also understand the what we can call the 3 marks of existence. Sometimes we call it the 4 marks of existence, or the 4 seals. And the first one is that all conditioned phenomena, all conditioned things are impermanent. They're in a constant state of flux, constant change. Then also all of the all conditioned phenomena have a nature of being unsatisfactory. And then also they have no self, no substantiality. You could say no self-identity. And then the 4th one of these is that nirvana, or enlightenment, is freedom from all of this, is unconditioned. I've no idea how long we've got to go because I don't have anything on my screen here. So maybe today we gotta get cut off a little bit, but I'll keep going as far as I can and then see you in 2 weeks after that. So also to understand the 4 noble truths, the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of the cause of suffering, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering or enlightenment, and the noble truth of the Eightfold Path, which is the path that leads to the cessation of the cause of suffering and therefore suffering and samsara. Once again, I mentioned that right understanding is the antidote for ignorance. Now, right intentions or thoughts, 3 minutes, is that what it says? Okay, good. Yeah, for some reason, the timer is not coming up on my screen here. So that should be enough to go through this one. And so the antidote for attachment and aversion, which make up the other 2 of the 3 poisons, or 3 poisonous states, the 3, you can say the 3 delusions that give rise to the 6 root delusions, then the 20 secondary and so forth, to all of the mental afflictions that we experience. So the first one is ignorance, which is dealt with right understanding, and the next 2, attachment and aversion, which are kind of like opposites of each other. So duality rises from this ignorance to attachment to what we find pleasing, and aversion from what we find unpleasant. And then, so the antidote for that is right intentions or right thoughts. We can use both those words for this second aspect of the Eightfold Path. Right intentions obviously is good intention, harmless intention to bring benefit. And the other ones I wanted to mention here, my notes are really terrible here. I didn't prepare at all because I was going to talk about something else today, actually. Anyway, so if you uproot these 3 poisons, then no other mental afflictions come, because all of the other mental afflictions come from these 3 poisons. The other one I want to mention, so this concludes the Eightfold Path, even though the Eightfold Path covers all of Buddhism. What I want to talk about in the first class, and maybe the first few classes in January, is meditation. So like the different levels of meditation, and also, where did I write here? Oh, I didn't write anything. So the 9 stages, I should say, of meditation, the faults to be relinquished and the antidotes on how to relinquish these faults in meditation, and also to talk about the hindrances to meditation. 1 minute, you look like you're playing cricket, you're giving the batsman out. So, and then we will go on to the 18 dhatus, or like the 6 senses, 6 sense objects, and so forth. Okay. So practice well, have a nice time. for this holiday season. Take care though, okay? Because, don't go and catch a virus or share it with others or things like that. Just really be careful. Keep a peaceful mind. It's really important that you do this for yourself and for others around you. Maintain pure intentions, whatever you're thinking and doing. Namo Buddhaya.